Hi, I'm Carl Vudervol. I teach low brass at the MacPhail Center for Music. I like to say that the magic of music comes through relationships. Now, ultimately, that's really about the connection between you and the other people you're performing with, and about the connection between you and the audience. But at a more basic level, it's about the relationship between the notes that we play. And in a piece like our audition piece, we can ask ourselves, what's the relationship supposed to be between the different notes that I'm playing? And one of the easiest ways to get an answer to that is to look at the ink that's printed on the page. So what instructions have we gotten from the composer? So this is marked brillante, which means sparkling, right? And sparkling is kind of like a light that's really quickly turning on, off, on, off, on, off. Like if you look at glitter, you're seeing different pieces of glitter reflecting and not reflecting, reflecting and not reflecting. So I think it makes sense to maybe have a little bit of space after the very first note, dum, dun, dun, like that. So to give it that kind of more brilliant, sparkly kind of a quality. So then we move through this ascending line with a couple of slurs in there to show variation between the articulated notes and the notes that are a little more connected. And then at the pick up to the third bar, we've got that mezzo piano. So the opening was forte, and then pick up to the third bar is mezzo piano. The relationship there is we get softer. So then we're moving on. We get this crescendo going through bar 4 into bar 5. We arrive on that middle F. And then the composer's written the word cantabile there as we jump up to that high F. Cantabile just means like a song. So you want it to have a nice flowing quality when you get to that cantabile section. Interestingly, getting into the first note of bar 7, there's no legato slur leading into that first note of bar 7. So it might be a good idea to put a little bit of a space in there to show that you understand that the legato slur ends on the C. It doesn't continue through to the middle G. So then we crescendo through bar 8 up into that high A. And we're still in a cantabile framework here. So even though you're working hard to produce those high notes, think about keeping that air flowing through that for that flowing cantabile style. And keeping the air flowing will probably help get the high notes too. So think about the air doing the work as you flow through that for the sake of keeping the high notes happening and keeping the phrase moving forward. Then we have the diminuendo through bars 11 and 12. And then we get to the soft minimoso at bar 13. So minimoso means less motion, not as fast. So we're quieter and not moving as quickly at bar 12, at bar 13. And then at bar 14, we're crescendoing through that line. Don't crescendo too much though, because we're only coming up to about mezzo piano for the beginning of the next one. So the relationship there is the beginning of bar 13 is piano, the beginning of bar 15 is mezzo piano, so try to make that difference. The beginning of bar 15 should be just a little bit louder than the beginning of bar 13 was. Then we're crescendoing up through bar 16, getting louder up to that high F. Then we have this hairpin coming up and coming down in bar 17. So I would come up quite a bit just to show a difference and then come back again. And then a couple bars later, we have the words written morendo senza ritardando. So morendo means dying away, but then in parentheses, the composer put senza ritardando. Senza means without, and ritardando means slowing down. So dying away, so getting quieter, but without slowing down. And then at bar 20, we've got tempo primo. That just means go back to the first tempo. So we're back at that faster tempo. Same ideas about the sparkling, brilliant style. Then we crescendo through bar 21 to the beginning of bar 22. Try to hold those quarter notes out full value. It's interesting that the composer didn't write 8th note, 16th note, 16th note, 8th note. The composer wrote 8th note, 2 16th notes, quarter note. So try to make sure that quarter note gets full value on the high F, the middle F, and the low F. And that should be a nice bold way to end the piece on a nice sustained low F. So that's just some thoughts about how you can have the different notes that you're playing relate to each other during your performance. The last thing that you want in an audition is to make it sound like you're just trying to play the notes. What you really want is to show the audition committee that you're trying to create a relationship between the notes in order to form phrases that come together to form an overall idea. So I hope that information is helpful to you. Good luck as you prepare your All-State audition.